The roots of systemic racism in America run deep, tracing back to the brutal transatlantic slave trade and the institution of slavery that dehumanized millions. This legacy set the stage for a society structured around inequality, where the descendants of enslaved people have faced persistent challenges across multiple dimensions of life. From education to employment, housing to healthcare, the impacts of these historical injustices continue to resonate today. In education, funding disparities remain glaringly evident. Predominantly black schools often receive significantly less financial support, leading to overcrowded classrooms and inadequate resources. As a result, access to advanced courses is limited and curricula frequently overlook the rich histories and contributions of black individuals. Disciplinary actions disproportionately target black students, funneling them into the school-to-prison pipeline, a troubling reflection of a system designed to marginalize. Employment opportunities are similarly affected by the lingering effects of systemic racism. Hiring bias persists, with black applicants facing discrimination based on their names or backgrounds. Wage gaps and promotion disparities create significant barriers to advancement, while workplace harassment and a lack of mentorship opportunities further hinder progress. This job insecurity compounds the economic instability rooted in a history of exclusion. Housing inequities are a direct result of past practices like redlining and discriminatory lending, which continue to impact black families today. Many find it challenging to secure loans or buy homes in predominantly white neighborhoods, perpetuating cycles of poverty and preventing wealth accumulation. Evictions disproportionately affect black communities, further destabilizing their living situations and economic prospects. The criminal justice system remains a stark reminder of these historical injustices. Racial profiling and sentencing disparities create an environment where over-policing is the norm, leading to higher arrest rates for minor offences. This creates a cycle of incarceration that affects entire families, reinforcing negative stereotypes about blackness and perpetuating narratives of criminality deeply ingrained in societal consciousness. Healthcare access, too, reflects the ongoing consequences of systemic racism. Black individuals often encounter significant barriers to care, facing treatment disparities and a lack of culturally competent providers. This leads to a reluctance to seek help, particularly for mental health issues, where stigma persists and support is often inadequate. The combination of these factors leaves many without the care they desperately need. Wealth accumulation remains stunted by generational wealth gaps, with many black families lacking the assets or credit necessary for investment and business ownership. Economic inequality is starkly evident, manifested in higher unemployment rates and limited access to financial services, which restrict opportunities for advancement and security. Political representation is still a struggle, with voter suppression tactics disproportionately affecting black communities. Strict ID laws and purging of voter rolls prevent many from exercising their rights, further limiting the voice of those most impacted by systemic inequities. This underrepresentation in government stifles advocacy for policies that could address these disparities. Media representation continues to play a significant role in shaping public perception. Stereotyping and a lack of diverse voices contribute to harmful narratives that further marginalize black experiences. Cultural appropriation exploits black culture without proper acknowledgement of its origins, stripping away the recognition of contributions that enrich American society. The intertwined nature of these issues illustrates how the historical injustices of the past perpetuate present-day challenges for descendants of American slaves. The struggle for equity and justice is an ongoing battle, one that requires collective action to dismantle the structures that uphold these disparities. The resilience and determination of these communities shine through, demanding acknowledgement, reparative justice, and a commitment to change, paving the way for future generations to thrive in a more just society. The legacy of systemic racism continues to manifest in contemporary America, affecting various aspects of life for descendants of enslaved people. In education, funding disparities remain stark, with predominantly black schools often receiving less financial support. This results in inadequate facilities, limited access to advanced courses, and a curriculum that frequently overlooks black history and contributions. Disciplinary actions disproportionately target black students, reinforcing the school-to-prison pipeline that diverts them into the criminal justice system at alarming rates. In the workforce, hiring bias persists, with black applicants often facing discrimination based on their names or backgrounds. Wage gaps and promotion disparities are still prevalent, exacerbated by workplace harassment and a lack of mentorship opportunities. Many black workers experience job insecurity, compounding the economic instability rooted in historical inequalities. Housing remains deeply impacted by redlining and discriminatory lending practices that continue today. Many black families find it challenging to secure loans or purchase homes in predominantly white neighborhoods, perpetuating cycles of poverty and limiting wealth accumulation. Evictions disproportionately affect black communities, further destabilizing their living situations and economic prospects. The criminal justice system is marked by ongoing racial profiling and sentencing disparities. Over-policing in black neighborhoods leads to higher arrest rates and harsher sentences for minor offenses, creating a cycle of incarceration that affects entire families and communities. This reinforces the stigma around blackness, perpetuating a narrative of criminality that is deeply ingrained in society. Healthcare access is still a critical issue, with black individuals facing significant barriers to care. Treatment disparities and cultural incompetence among healthcare providers can result in inadequate care and a reluctance to seek help, particularly for mental health issues. The stigma surrounding mental health persists, further isolating those in need of support. Wealth accumulation remains hindered by generational wealth gaps, with many black families lacking the assets or credit needed to invest in businesses or secure loans. Economic inequality is evident in higher unemployment rates and limited access to financial services, which continue to restrict opportunities for advancement and ownership. Political representation is still lacking, with voter suppression tactics like strict ID laws and purging of voter rolls disproportionately affecting black communities. This underrepresentation in government limits the ability to advocate for policies that address systemic inequities. Media representation also reflects these ongoing issues. Stereotyping and a lack of diverse voices in storytelling perpetuate harmful narratives, affecting public perception and reinforcing racial biases. Cultural appropriation continues to exploit black culture without acknowledgement of its origins, further marginalizing the contributions of black individuals. Overall, the intertwined nature of these systemic issues highlights how the historical injustices of the past continue to impact the present. The struggle for equity and justice remains a pressing challenge, requiring collective action to dismantle the structures that perpetuate these disparities and to create a more just society for all.